Okay, I want everyone to go back and imagine the days when you were little. The days where you played soccer, t-ball, or any other sport, where everyone was there to be a winner, and then you'd get snack right afterwards. Do we all remember these days? I think so. I remember playing when I was little all the time. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone's a winner no matter what. You did a good job even if you kicked the ball in the wrong goal. Right? We all remember these days. But I do wonder what happened to the snack. I don't remember getting snacks in high school anymore when I played sports. Well, I'm sure most of you did participate in these sports like me. When you were little, there's gymnastics, dance, t-ball. It's endless opportunities that you can play sports in. Today I'm going to prove to you why children should play sports. I'm going to start with showing you how playing sports at a young age leads to a healthy lifestyle. Then I'm going to give examples of how developmental experiences are acquired through sports. And I will be concluding with how sports build essential life skills. So let's get started. First, I want to show you how playing sports at a young age leads to a healthy lifestyle. I'm sure anyone can pick out the littlest kid on a team and the biggest kid on the team. No one wants to have the really big kid, right? The little kid's okay because they're so cute and you just want to pick them up and twirl them around, right? Then what do you do with the really big kid, right? According to research at the University of Minnesota, adolescents who play sports have better eating habits and nutrient intake than those who do not. When children are running around, the first thing you notice is the fast kid, right? And then the slow kid. Who's normally the slow kid? The bigger kid, right? There's nothing wrong with being a bigger kid. I was a bigger kid, but I'm talking about the kids who cannot run more than 15 feet without huffing and puffing. This has become an epidemic in the U.S. Research has found that kids that play sports, especially girls, are more likely to have positive body images and higher self-esteem. They are also less likely to be overweight. Not only is it an overweight issue and obesity, but you have the self-image issue. When you're young and you're a little girl, you're looking up to characters like Miley Cyrus, or you're looking up to the younger guys even. And you're looking at them, what do they look like? They're skinny, they have their boobs up to their neck. You know, the guys are all built, like, and their shirts are always off. This projects this self-image that this is what you have to look like when you grow up. As a young girl, you see these images in magazines and on TV, and it just transcends into how you picture yourself and what you should look like. The Center for Disease Control reports 16% of children, over 9 million, ages 6 to 19 years old, are overweight or obese, a number that has tripled since 1980. Another 15% were considered at risk for becoming overweight. Over the past 3 decades, the childhood obesity rate has more than doubled from preschool children, ages 2 to 5. You're talking obese children, 2 to 5. Kids who are 2 to 5 are about this tall, typically, maybe right here. They're obese already at 2 to 5 years old. And experts agree that inactivity and poor eating habits contribute to obesity, while national guidelines recommend 150 minutes of physical activity each week for elementary children and 225 minutes for older children. I don't believe this is enough. We still have kids that are overweight, that play too many video games, and that don't even get to experience sports. Which brings me to my next example. I'm going to give examples of how developmental experiences are acquired through sports. Maureen D'Souza, a child psychologist, states, children need to explore with all their senses an exploration that frequently starts with a child getting their hands into something interesting. We're often told that children learn by doing rather than by being told. We've all been there, done that, right? Your mom tells you the plate's hot, don't touch it. What do? You touch it. Or don't take the dog out for a walk, he'll pull you too far. What happens? You let the dog out and you try to take it for a walk and he runs off. We've all had this happen. You learn through experience. The Mayo Clinic data shows kids 2 to 3 years old should work on basic movements, running, catching, jumping, tumbling. They're still too young to be part of actual sports with a team, but it's good for them to learn how to move their body, jumping, and all these activities help them develop. 4 to 6 years old, they should be dancing, hopscotch, tag, jump rope, biking, swimming, and some team sports. Motor skills start to develop between the ages of 5 and 6. These are the skills hand-eye coordination, their ability to solve problems comes in. Their sense of security starts to come in, whether they're okay where they're at or whether they need mom and dad constantly. When they get to 7 years old, they're ready for most sports, and they're ready to start the competitive edge. The competitive edge, I mean, not everyone's a winner anymore. This is where you have to figure out how to work as a team, work with other people, and get along with people you don't like. When you're on a team, we all have been on teams before, whether it's a group project or a team sport. There's always the one person that's just not quite as good as the other people, or they're not doing as much work. It's important for kids to learn that they have to work together from a young age, so when they're older, they know what to do. Dr. Lewinsky from the Mayo Clinic states, the more children can try different sports and activities and find something they're good at, they'll enjoy the activity more. I think back when I hear this about how when I was in 6th grade, my mom wanted me to be part of the swim team. Because I'm an Italian kid, I was pretty big. And I was guilty of being a little overweight too. And she tried to get me to go swimming, and I hated it. I hated it so much I didn't even want to go. I would fight and argue with her, and I hated it all the way until I decided to do it when I was in high school. Having these kids go to sports they don't like is going to promote them to not want to do it. They're just going to hate sports even more if you keep making them do what they don't want to do. Our own experiences help bring into the children. So when you have an experience, share it with your child. I did this sport. I had a lot of fun. Why don't you try it? You can use your own experiences to relate to kids. Finally, I want to explain how childhood activity is important to build life's essential skills. Families.com states, children learn how to interact with their peers and with adults while playing sports. Have you ever been out on the field or you've been out somewhere with kids and there's those kids that are really shy and hide behind their mom and dad? It's because they haven't had a lot of time to be around other people and other kids or other adults. They don't know what to do, they're scared, they're trying to hide from situations. It's important that we put them in sports with other kids where mom and dad aren't always around, so they get to have the chance to interact with adults and with children. They also learn different types of language, different types of words that are used. I know, for example, I used to say to kids all the time, sit Indian style. And they'd look at me like, what's Indian style? And then they learn from me what Indian style is, but I also learn from them it's crisscross applesauce now. It's where you sit like you like your pencil. So it's learning to work with other adults. You learn different types of language, and you learn how to communicate with adults when you're a child. Have the opportunity to choose friends and a sense of teamwork and leadership skills. It's important for kids to be able to pick out what types of people they want to be friends with. There's those kids that are always around that you just know right away, I don't want my kid to be friends with them, but your kid needs to make the decision on their own. Learning how to work with a team when you're young and to when you become adult. I talked about this a little bit earlier. It's really important that when your kids are little that you don't try to make them, just let them get out of tough situations, or because they don't like someone on the team, let them be off the team. It's important that they keep going through it because, you know, when we're in a group, you don't get to choose who's in your group most of the time, or you don't get to choose who's always on your team. You need to work well with others. And then finally, the experience in life away from parents and home. This is something that I see really common as a swim coach. You see the kids that cry whenever something gets a little bit too hard, or the first thing they do is scream mom. And guess what? The mom comes running right down to rescue the kid. And as a coach, I'm sitting there like, just let your kid go, they're fine, they're just complaining. But the kid knows as soon as they start crying and they get upset, mom's going to come running. This is something that the parents need to learn to do. Let your child play your sport. All of these skills need to be developed early and can lead children to have more positive social experience. So I want to challenge everyone today to make sure that if you guys know a child or you're going to have children, to get them involved in some types of sports. Today we have looked at how children play sports at a young age, influence a healthy lifestyle, provide developmental experiences, and build essential life skills. So get out there and play with the kids.